Well, hey there and hello and welcome to the bathroom of the dollhouse for another reading from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Joost Elfers for September 1st, the day of no nonsense. That's right. And here at the top of the page for the day of no nonsense as a visual representation, I suppose, is a pork pie hat and an oversized golf ball, or perhaps it's a normal sized golf ball and a miniature sized pork pie. That's right. For the day of no nonsense, or whatever makes sense, so the most nonsense, if you like, or probably don't like. In any event, hey, is it September 1st and it's your birthday today? Well, if it is, I just want to extend you a heartfelt happy birthday. And if this video finds you long or shortly after your birthday has already come to pass, hey, I hope you had a happy birthday. That's right. And for everyone else who's just joining us randomly or out of curiosity, I want to extend you a heartfelt welcome and hope you enjoy yourself. But maybe you're just here to celebrate the September 1st birthday, the day of no nonsense. That's right. And if you are, hey, I hope you enjoy yourself too. So let's celebrate, shall we? Now, before we dive in directly, let's roll some dice. That's right. It is the DykASSt birthday cast, so we have to live up to the namesake there. But more importantly, we roll the dice for a synchronicity sake. That's right. Hey, what do we roll us today? We have us a 5 and a 1 for 6. All right, a 5 and a 1 for 6. So what is synchronicity? Some of you may be wondering. Well, as I understand it, it's just you going out into the world and letting the universe show you the signs to let you know it's with you on your path. That's right. And how do you do that? Well, you just you look out for these numbers, all right? You try and spy them wherever you can. And when you spy them, you go after them with a fierceness. That's right, a savage fierceness. You go after these numbers, these signs. You can roll them yourself, but the intention here is for you, so you can do with this what you like. But in any event, you get out there, you look for your numbers, and when you see them, you chase them down. All right, it could be a sign you see out in a parking lot with a 51 degrees out there, or maybe it's 15 degrees. Who's to say? But hey, maybe go on into the Kmart or whatever shopping outlet that is. Have a look around, see what you see. Maybe you go down aisle 6. That's right, and it's just taking you off your path. And you don't necessarily have to force it per se, but you're looking and you're keeping your eye out for those signs. And maybe as you're going down aisle 6. Hey, you see something you always needed but could never find, and it's just little small things that start to line up. Or maybe the day takes on a theme, like say you find some oversized golf balls. I don't know. Hey, synchronicity, all right? Or maybe it's just as simple as you see an old friend you haven't seen in years, but hey, you wouldn't have seen him otherwise unless you'd gone into that Kmart and gone down aisle 6. And hey, when he goes, why are you here? You tell him, hey, and you show him this video. This dude told me about synchronicity, and that old friend of yours might just join you to look for the signs. And hey, that's a memorable birthday right there. That's right. In any event, hey, let's move on from the synchronicity. I think you get the point. Your month is September, your day is the 1st, your sign is 7 to 9 degrees Virgo, of the Virgo I period specifically. And your quality and element is mutable earth. All right, September 1st, the day of no nonsense. September 1 people are tough and able to handle the difficulties fate has in store for them. They tend to be pragmatic, practical yet charming, with an approach to life that is straightforward and direct. And those born on this day often have quite spectacular fantasies, but demonstrate a knack for bringing such dreams down to the practical level, which can earn them good financial return on their ideas. September 1 people do not fool around at all when it comes to their work. They resent any attempt to make light of what they do or to undercut their efforts. They are, however, capable of listening to constructive criticism, always interested in knowing how they can do something better. They are a bit perfectionistic and therefore open to suggestions for improvement. And though September 1 people are mentally oriented, they also have a very physical side. And unless their physical needs are met through both appreciation and stimulation, they will be unhappy and frustrated. Combative types, they are ready to back up their words with actions and generally do not shrink from a fight. And thus, they must be careful not to steamroll those who may be a bit too sensitive for their direct onslaughts. All right. So convinced are September 1 people of a person's need to stand up for him or herself that they may encourage their children or loved ones to learn a martial art or other form of self-defense. In every aspect of their lives, September 1 people seek a meeting of the mental and the physical. If, for example, they plan a party or a picnic, they like to roll up their sleeves and do the cooking or clean up themselves. And if in business they think up an idea or a system, they won't be happy unless they implement and maintain it as well. No matter what they create, its physical manifestation is something in which they must be personally involved. Of course, sexual satisfaction is important to September 1 people, but those born on this day require partners whose mind they find at least as interesting as their body. September 1 people must learn that not everyone thinks the way that they do on this subject, and others may find it more comfortable to keep a clear distinction between mental and physical activities. This difference can cause misunderstandings with love partners. And furthermore, September 1 people have to learn to be a bit less serious about their careers and not just restrict having fun to the weekends or vacation times. And those born in this day will find that many conflicts come their way. They are survivors, but have their limitations too, and therefore in some cases they should not push their luck, but rather be satisfied with what they have, including losses, and stop at the right moment. They must learn to walk away from Lady Luck's wheel of fortune in order to avoid disaster. Because their tendency to never give up is so strong, they may have to learn this lesson the hard way. That's right. All right, hey, what I have to say about your birthday breakdown. Pretty interesting, all right? And I say that a lot of times because, I do find it interesting. But this one, I identified with quite a bit. So let's see what I wrote down here in the notes. All right. Pragmatic, charming folks able to handle life's hardships in a tough, straightforward fashion. And ostensibly not one for nonsense. And also have the capacity to bring fantastic fantasies down to earth and make them profitable, all right? And I gotta say, that's no easy ask in my experience. So if you come to that naturally, it's quite the enviable quality, all right? As to not tolerating people making light of your work or undercutting your efforts, well, I can't say that I can really imagine anyone who cares about their job who is open to people doing as much, all right? And I suppose it does ensure more hourly wages, correcting the screw up. But people with that kind of mindset aren't generally the ones that you want in your orbit anyway. All right, I'm thinking about those folks that, we lose the light there? Well, we press on, that's right. I'm thinking about those folks who just show up and as much hourly as they can get, they go for it. And you know what? That's not necessarily conducive to the overall product, right? In any event, hey, I think you get the point. It says, I also wrote, combative, physical, do-it-yourself types who need to be mindful of steamrolling others. That's right. And it just sounds to me as though you're a go-getter who wants to make things happen instead of thinking or talking about it, right? And I get it. I do it, all right? But there's also something to be said for thinking about things too, okay? Provided it makes the job more pragmatically performed. At least that's my mindset, all right? Take a few minutes to think it through, the process. Even though the temptation is there to just roll up them sleeves and dive right in, sometimes you might save yourself a whole lot of time if you just think a few steps ahead or get into the practice of doing as much. What's a few minutes, right? In any event, there's also something to be said for thinking about things. Okay, I already said that. As to the sensitive types, I get that also. But sometimes you gotta play the game, right? And the reading also mentions that you may be attracted to the mind as well as the body. And I'm right there with you, okay? Someone who understands and or adds to your sense of humor is also something that sends that dynamic even further. And it might not necessarily have to be humor, but that's just it for me. If I'm telling jokes and they're totally lost, I don't mind explaining it a few times, but it just gets old and redundant after that. And at that point, you don't even want to make the jokes. They're not even fun anymore, right? And I guess you just change that for understanding your personality or humor, back and forth. You get it. And at first, I thought the reading meant that you aren't a fan of fun at work. But then it kind of said you just don't like people undercutting your work or making light of it. And I get that totally. But then, what did they do? They said that. They said you don't like fun at work at the end of there. And I gotta say, I don't quite agree with you on that one, because a lot of times you get into a job and it's just medial and it's boring and it just sucks the life out of you, and you gotta inject some levity to get through. But I guess if you're the one running things, you might be a little precious about it. If that's the case, hey, I get it. But you gotta let your employees blow off a little steam, get through their day, right? It's about troop morale and welfare, not warfare. Though I suppose for you it's more like warfare, right? That said, hey, just be open to having you a little fun, especially if you're not the one with the skin in the game. You just working a job too. Let some fun happen. That's what I say. All right, hey, let's dive in with your numbers and your planets. All right. It's that light going out's distracting me, but we gotta press on, right? Roll our sleeves up if you like, or don't like. All right, hey, those born on the first of the month are ruled by the number 1 and by the sun. All right, often people born on the first like to be first, and generally those ruled by the number 1 are highly individual and opinionated, and eager to rise to the top. All right, particularly true of those born on September 1. And the latter must, of course, beware of going too far on this road, being overcome by ambition and drowning everyone around them in their abundant energy. And the sun symbolizes creative energy and fire, which should be kept flowing steadily rather than allowed to flare out of control. And combined with Mercury, which is Virgo's ruler, it can produce mental brilliance. How about that? All right, what I have to say about your numbers and your planets. All right. The number 1 and the sun for that strong dynamic between the eclectic powers to influence people and be their leader, I would suppose. All right, at least as far as I've discerned. Okay, but it says you have a drive to be first and are highly individual and opinionated. Just beware of your radiative, fiery energy, all right? Unrestricted, it stands to overpower folks, but properly regulated and focused, I think it probably stands to inspire them, all right? And as coupled with Mercury, it apparently breeds brilliance. So what I have found in these instances where you have a sun rulership, it just heightens the intensity of the personality. If you go back to, say, August 15th and advance forward a couple days through the 19th to the 20th, they're just some really unique personalities. And I think a lot of it has to do with that sun rulership. Maybe go check those out if you're interested. But in any event, this is your birthday. It's about you. So let's dive in with your tarot card, all right? The more eclectic of the metaphysical ideologies, at least by my mind, but it's in the book, it's fun, it's free, and who's to say? We might just learn something. So let's dive in, see what we see. The first card of the major arcana is the Magician. That's right, who symbolizes intellect, communication, information, and magic. Yes, sir. And ma'am, over his head is an infinity symbol, which in some tarot decks takes the form of a hat and in others, a halo. And many interpretations may be drawn, one of which is the magician recognizes the cyclical and unending nature of life and is empowered by this understanding. And the positive traits suggested by this first card include diplomatic skill and shrewdness, but negatively, lack of scruples and opportunism. All right. What I have to say about your tarot card? The Magician for the intellect and the magic. All right. But it sounds like maybe the communication aspect that's endemic of the card, I think endemic's the right word, We'll go with it. Well, it says that it might be going off the breakdown, I think it might be wanting a little bit, especially for those people you steamroll, right? Those sensitive types. Well, that's just my reading of it. But if in diplomatic skill is an imparted capacity through this tarot card that we've got here, you probably just have to roll up your sleeves a bit with that aspect and really dive in, because it might be hidden a little bit by the rulership of the sun. Yeah, it's just that your sun energy outshines those traits a bit. So in either case, the card's either somewhat disconnected with the breakdown, or you just have the nature and you just haven't focused on it. It's shrouded amongst all the other things. So if that's something you're interested in, maybe you just needed to hear it and find your focus for that diplomatic skill with those sensitive types you all too often or steamroll. Maybe it doesn't even apply, but that's what I got out of it. All right, hey, let's move on to your health. The health of September 1 people flourishes when they structure their life around regular work habits. Having meals on time, keeping regular hours, and exercising consistently suits them. All right? And the physical needs of September 1 people must be met both in and out of the bedroom. As far as sport activities are concerned, those born on this day are usually highly competitive. So one-on-one sports such as tennis, squash, and handball may be attractive to them. And September 1 people are usually picky about what they eat. So either they should develop their own cooking talents or eat regularly at the table of someone who is also a stickler for both the taste and the appearance of food. Well, all right, what I have to say about your health. Your health flourishes, all right, amidst structure and regular work habits. I think I would probably agree based upon the breakdown. You seem very work-focused, at least as far as all that's concerned. Who would have guessed? That's what I wrote down here. One thing I wouldn't have guessed, however, is an emphasis on the physical needs in and out of the bedroom. I mean, it seems applicable to everyone on some level, right? But they made a note of it here in your health breakdown, so it's probably something to take note of. What else do I have here? But I like their suggestion about being a picky eater. That's the first I think I've read that in a health breakdown. And I'm also picky about eating too, so I keyed to that pretty quick. As for competitive sport, hey, steamroll away. You gotta find those sensitive types in competitive sports and take advantage of it. Am I right? Let your sun energy radiate. All right. No need to be diplomatic until the end when you're shaking hands because you beat them real good. That's right. You beat them real good. Okay, let's dive in with your advice. Okay, not that you haven't got enough of that already, right? Learn when to quit, all right? When to walk away, even when to run away. You may not be quite as powerful as you think you are, and be guarded in dispensing advice. Try to cultivate a less serious aspect, and actively seek out and learn from others. All right. And what I have to say about your advice? It was really quick, in and out, and they drilled down on a few things you might not have gotten from the rest of the breakdown, so that's good there. Or what I have to say, know when to quit, all right? Easier said than done, right? Especially for someone who is just so focused on getting that work done. I would assume you get a sense of fulfillment out of it, and it's hard to let that go. But lucky and unlucky for me, my body begins to just onslaught me with pain in various areas. So, I have to quit at a certain point, or it's just untenable. So I have that regulated for me. So you just need to find something like that for you, right? But find you a more ideal means, I reckon, especially when the work isn't that pressing. Sometimes folks, they just they want to bite off more than they can chew, and at the time there's no reason. It's just a regular humdrum day. It's when the day gets really, what am I trying to say? Those work days when there's like 9 different things that need to get done? Maybe that's the time that you focus on drilling down and getting things knocked out, regardless how you feel it. That's right. So maybe just save it for when the times are pressing. All right. And here's the other thing, most important in my mind: have some fun at work. All right. It's gonna do great things for you, I reckon, if you open yourself up to it, and it's gonna get those other workers to loosen up a little bit, loosen up a little more, but in a good way, I would hope. But know how to rein it in too. It's just that diplomacy, right? You gotta let them joke around a little bit, as long as they're still getting work done. That's what I say. That was my managerial attitude. Have fun in here, but get some work done. All right. Don't be lollygagging. All right. Okay. You get the point. All right. Let's move on to your meditation. Acceptance of what happens is essential to the discovery of truth. Once more. Once more. Acceptance of what happens is essential to the discovery of truth. All right, I'm going to leave that there for you. I don't need to break it down. It's your birthday. It's your meditation. All right, let's move on to your strengths and your weaknesses. All right. Can you guess what they are? You're conscientious, you're physical, and you're fearless. Those are your strengths. Your weaknesses. Are you ready? Insistent, grim, and you're unyielding. Ooh, I haven't read grim in there before. Or unyielding. You know what? Or insistent. So, hey, you're unique in that regard. But everybody's got weaknesses. So, you know what? It's just good to hear them so we can be mindful, right? All right, hey, let's dive in with those born on this day. And I like to take the opportunity in this instance to examine the fact that I go out in the world and I meet folks and I ask them what they do, and more importantly, if they like it. And in a lot of cases, even though they may be putting on a smile on their face, they don't. You can see it's not a genuine smile. It's just, and you can understand, right? A lot of people, they just, they roll out of bed, they go do the job, they get paid, and they come back and they enjoy their weekend, if they can. But even the point is a lot of times people haven't got the time, the energy, or the ability to put in the work to figure out what it is that they really enjoy, at least from a work aspect, right? Something that they'll get at, or roll out of bed in the morning, backflip out of bed in the morning, just to get into it, right? For you, hey, if your fulfillment is in any kind of work, maybe that's not the case. But the whole point being, maybe when we discover whose company you share and see why they got put in the book, why they're famous, why they got put on the map, we can see what their passions were. And, maybe we can derive some inspiration from that. That is, if you find yourself in a similar pitfall, not enjoying what you do. So let's dive in with those born on this day. We have Rocky Marciano, the undefeated world heavyweight boxing champion, with the 49-0 record, 43 knockouts, and he died in a plane crash. Oh, that's sad. We have a gentleman, Jim Corbett, or Jim Corbett, perhaps, I'm not quite sure. He was a world heavyweight boxing champion and a movie actor. Ooh, a couple boxers already. We have Ann Richards, the Texas governor. We also have Kenneth Roy Thompson, Canadian publishing magnate, one of the world's richest men. Oh, he probably knows how to work, right? And take no nonsense, if and you like, or don't like. We also have Walter Reuther, probably saying that wrong, Reuther, union labor leader, United Auto Workers. We also have Edgar Rice Burroughs, a British novelist of Tarzan and the Apes. We have C.G. Ozawa, not quite sure Japanese name. It was a Japanese conductor. Art Pepper, the jazz alto saxophonist, composer, and autobiographer, and wrote Straight Life, or perhaps that was a music album. We have Lily Tomlin, a comedian and an actress. Gloria Stefan, singer, and survived an accident and made a comeback. We also have Alan M. Dershowitz, a defense attorney, an ACLU director, and writer of Chutzpah. We also have Bo Schemblecker, was a college football coach. We also have Woody Stevens, a trainer of horses, and he won the 5-time Belmont Stakes and a 2-time Kentucky Derby. We have Vittorio Gassman, Italian stage film actor and a director. We also have William H. Allen, the Boeing aircraft president, Johann Pachelbel, a German composer. We also have Richard Farnsworth, a TV and film actor, Melvin Laird, Defense Secretary, Barry Gibb, the Australian singer-songwriter of the Bee Gees, and Yvonne De Carlo, a film actress. So we had a lot of aggressive sports types. We had some leaders in the government, and we also had a lot of actors and creative types. So how about that? Take some inspiration there. And I also butchered almost all the names, so we need to do some butchering here, because it's not done in malice or ill intent. I'm just not real good with the hooked on phonics there. So I hated those cassettes when I was growing up. In any event, hey, I think that concludes the birthday read, except for your season is summer, and once again, your sign is Virgo of the Virgo I period, more precisely, and your quality and elements is mutable earth. And this has been the secret language of birthdays, September 1st, the day of no nonsense. All right, I have an affiliate link for this book down in the description there if you're interested in picking up your own copy and diving in further. Although you might find this to be a lot of nonsense, it's still fun, it's still interesting, it's still something to throw out on the coffee table if you got company coming in and you want to break the ice in an interesting way, and it's going to get the conversation started. But some, for better or sometimes for worse. That's right. But hey, either way, it's going to get the conversation started, and you might learn something about the folks that you're talking with. So besides all that, I just want to say, most importantly, happy birthday. All right, if today was your birthday, happy birthday. And for everyone else who joined us to celebrate the September 1 birthday, well, I hope you enjoyed yourself, found it interesting, and you join us for your birthday read. That's right. But lastly, let's not forget, and most importantly, outside of the fact that it's your birthday, that's the most important part, right? Your numbers, your daily numbers. Get out there for that synchronicity. Let's keep it in frame, bud. All 5 and a 1 for 6. All right, hey, once again, happy birthday. All right, take care of yourself.